One day I was at my friend Sam's house down the street, kid I grew up with. We were all at his house watching the Drive Through Records DVD and all the bands that were on it. Thursday, Newfound Glory, all these bands we were watching. It was me and probably three or four other people in the room, and we were saying, "Oh, we should start a band, right?" And oh, you'll play this, I'll play that. We were all kind of picking what we would do. I said, "Oh, I'll try to get a guitar or something." None of us could play anything at the time, so I went home and I actually, "Oh, can I get a guitar?" And I had a nylon string guitar, acoustic guitar that my aunt had given me, and my parents basically said, "If you learn a couple things on there, maybe we'll get you a guitar." So later on for Christmas, I got a starter electric guitar kit and instantly started to try to put the band together. It's funny because none of those guys that really went and got the instruments, so it was just me. Now I had this guitar, but that kind of put me on that path. For me, influences guitar playing wise, I'd say definitely Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix, it's probably a cliche answer for a lot of players, but for me, I mean, just that he was so innovative and the sound was so different, the techniques were different, he looked cool. It was the full package. He seemed like he was an open channel on the guitar and the music was just pouring out of him versus a really learned player who I appreciate that stuff too, but definitely Hendrix. Stevie Ray Vaughan, who he had a lot of Hendrix in his playing, but he also had Freddie King and all those guys. So those are two at the top, but I could go on and on all day long. David Gilmour, Wes Montgomery, Dimebag Darrell, Tom Morello, you name it. I love it all. Albert King, B.B. King, all the blues guys. The thing I try to incorporate, and I didn't mention it earlier, but a lot of the surf music. So Dick Dale, the king of the surf guitar, obviously, right? He was such an important part in the sound of Kooked Out. So I think in our own music, the guitar tones tend to be pretty surfy, 60s influenced. I don't know if you can see the amps in the shop, but I got a Vox here, and then a Super Reverb. This is a 65 reissue kind of, meant to sound like the original Super Reverbs, and it's cool because it's got a built-in vibrato. The reverb is ridiculous on this. Sounds awesome for the surf stuff. And then just the Blues Junior too. That's got a very surfy sound. All the Fender amps have great reverbs on them. The spring reverb. So I really love that sound. And on our record, you can hear quite a bit of it. This guitar is one of my favorite guitars, mainly for the look. It sounds good. The tuning's not as good as it could be. It's an old guitar, but it looks amazing and it inspires me. I keep this at home on a stand it's right next to a bookcase. It just looks great. So when I walk in the room and I see that guitar, it always inspires me, and I don't know, I'm always in awe of the way it looks. And I actually got this off a friend who didn't play the guitar. I think it was sitting in their basement, and I said, "I'll buy that off you," and I did, and I've had it since, and I love this guitar. This is Stella, by the way. Chris will tell you, I could go all day long, and my friends tell you, like, quoting movies. So it's hard to pick, but some of my favorites off the top of my head, I love, all the gangster movies, The Godfather, Goodfellas, Scarface, all those classics. But then funny movies too, Wedding Crashers, old school, My Cousin Vinny, what else? Almost Famous is one of my favorite movies. School of Rock, you gotta put that in there if you're a musician. That movie changed my life completely. A lot of the old Alfred Hitchcock movies, The Birds, Vertigo, Rear Window. I love all that, The Twilight Zone, all that kind of stuff for shows. I think overall, I look forward to some sort of pasta on Sundays at my mother's house. We kind of get together every Sunday, most of the time when we can, and she makes pasta of some sort, meatballs, whatever. And I'm a sucker for that, but I'll eat just about anything, honestly. Funny because music was my hobby, and now it's kind of our job in a way too. So I still play a lot of music even when we're not doing anything with the band. But I like to watch movies, hang out with friends, girlfriend, family, read read sometimes, and yeah, walk around. I don't know, just be outside, just hang out. I met Chris. We probably have slightly different versions of the same story, but through online, probably on Facebook, I saw a video maybe he had posted, or maybe it was on YouTube, I don't know. But I contacted him on Facebook. We were in a pinch we needed a drummer for a show, a Halloween show. I think it was at the Middle East upstairs, and last minute we needed someone to fill in, and I didn't really know Chris. We're from the same town, but there's kind of a few years between us, so I got in touch with him, and he came in, he was great, and he just kind of fit right in and did a great job at the gig, and we just kind of became friends and bandmates, and they've been playing ever since. The reading and the influences, I'm trying to always absorb something, so just whether it's reading a book or watching a movie or going to a cool, inspiring place somewhere beautiful, or it doesn't have to be beautiful. Sometimes you can just get inspired no matter what circumstance, experience, whatever it is. And I just try to put that into songs and stuff, and sometimes I'll read a cool thing, I go, oh, I gotta remember that, I'll record it in my phone or write it down. And sometimes you don't do anything with it right away, and you come back later and you go, oh, that actually makes sense now to me where it didn't before. So I do that, I write things down, try to bank ideas, and sometimes they come out fast, and other times it sits around it kind of for years, months, whatever, but it's there. You have it in your back pocket when you need it. Roger Waters doing The Dark Side of the Moon in its entirety. I went with my family, this was years ago, but the light show, the song, the catalog of songs, he played a bunch of songs off the other records, and then did Dark Side all the way through, and that was an incredible experience to this day. It was one of the better ones. And then the other one just was a few years ago, the Rolling Stones at Gillette. I mean, these guys sounded so, it was before Charlie Watts died, so he sounded great. They were so solid. The Rolling Stones, so many great songs and cool. And Mick Jagger, I mean, he runs around like he's 20 years old. He puts us to shame. Those guys put us to shame, but that's why they're the Rolling Stones, right? I'm pumped about the shirt. I bought this shirt in Salem just, I don't know, a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago. And I'm pumped about it. Because actually, this is one of my favorite movies as well. Being in a band was always something that I wanted to do, even when I could barely play at all, which it's debatable. You could still say I could barely play. I got a little better. But when you're a kid and you got a guitar, it's so much more fun to try to play with other people, and you make noise, and I'm just happy my mother put up with it, honestly, so bless her heart. I was never good at learning songs when I was younger. Now I have a little more discipline, I can sit down and learn it, but I learned a piece of it and then immediately change it and like try to make a song or something, and they were terrible, but that was probably one of the things early on I noticed. I like to make songs rather than just play songs, and that's when I knew I kind of wanted to be have a creative outlet with music versus just playing covers, which a lot of people probably think that we're just playing covers, but we've always been a band that writes a lot of songs, and we're excited to share all the music that we've been doing. Johnny the Kid nickname, JTK. A lot of guys that grew up with call me that still, and it's funny because I think, I'm almost embarrassed to say, I think I said it once at hanging out with a bunch of friends as a joke. Like, oh, call me Johnny the Kid. And then they just never stopped calling me Johnny the Kid. So I've been Johnny the Kid ever since.